After my mother passed, our house turned quiet, but not empty. My father and I became each other's anchor, surviving the ache of grief together. We cooked simple meals. We drank evening tea on the porch. I helped him with his medicine and he reminded me to live my life. There was a deep, peaceful rhythm to our days, something sacred in the silence we shared. Then Arian came back. He was my stepbrother, the son from my father's first marriage. We hadn't grown up together. He lived abroad, only visiting once every few years. When he announced he was moving back permanently, my father was thrilled. "Family should be together," he said with a hopeful smile. I agreed. Or at least I tried to. Arian arrived with expensive luggage, a designer watch, and a wide grin. At first, he was charming, bringing gifts, helping around the house, acting overly polite. I wanted to believe this was a new chapter for all of us. But something felt off. Within a week, Arian began suggesting improvements. The old armchair Dad loved. Too dusty. Should be replaced. Our family photos on the wall. Clutter. Even Dad's medication schedule. He questioned everything, subtly undermining me. At dinner, he started talking over my father, making decisions about finances, renovations, and visitors as if he'd always been in charge. Dad, gentle as ever, didn't push back. "Let him help," he told me. "He's just trying to find his place." But deep down I felt it. This wasn't reconnection. This was intrusion. One night, I walked past the study and overheard Arian on a call. "He's not as sharp anymore," he said. "I'll handle everything soon." Froze. That night, I sat beside my father a little longer. He smiled at me, unaware of the storm forming in his own home. I thought he came to reconnect. He came to take control. First, it was subtle. Arian would hover near my father when guests came over, gently correcting him when he forgot a date or misplaced a name. Seemed harmless, helpful even. But then the tone changed. I'd catch Arian exchanging glances with our relatives. He'd lean in to whisper, "Dad's not as sharp as he used to be. I'm just trying to help." The whispers grew. Uncle Ravi started calling me with concern in his voice. "Are you sure Papa should be living alone? Arian says he's getting confused." Auntie Nita stopped inviting Dad to temple functions. "It's too crowded. He might feel overwhelmed," she said, eyes darting away from mine. Meanwhile, Dad, my sweet, wise father, began to shrink. He hesitated before speaking, paused in the middle of sentences, then looked to Arian as if for permission. He double-checked everything he did. Once, I found him staring at the pill organizer I set for him, tears quietly sliding down his cheeks. "I used to be better than this," he whispered. "You still are," I told him. But Arian was always nearby, listening, waiting. Then came the small manipulations. Dad's favorite walking stick went missing. Arian claimed Dad must have lost it, though I knew exactly where it had been. Important documents began disappearing, papers I had organized, labeled, and stored. Arian insisted Dad must have misplaced them again. One night, I overheard Arian on a phone call in the next room. "She doesn't know what she's doing," he said. "I'll make sure she's out of the way soon. It's better for everyone." Something in me cracked open. I realized this wasn't about concern. This was about control, power. He wanted to be the only one in charge. He wanted me gone. And worst of all, he was slowly convincing my father that maybe, just maybe, he needed to hand that power over. I started keeping notes, recording conversations, watching patterns. Because Arian wasn't just gaslighting my father. He was trying to erase both of us. But he had underestimated something vital. I wasn't just a daughter. I was his daughter. And I wasn't going anywhere. It was a Tuesday evening. The house was quiet, too quiet. My father was resting, and Arian had disappeared into the study. I walked past, not intending to eavesdrop, but something about his low tone caught my attention. "Yes, a private room. Discreet. He won't even realize it's permanent at first." Was. Then. We'll say it's a short stay for his health. He's been slipping. It's time. Froze. The blood drained from my face as I pressed myself against the wall, listening. Arian's voice was smooth, confident, cold. I've already arranged the visit. Paperwork is easy once we say she's overwhelmed. I'll handle her. She's too emotional to be objective. Handle me. I pushed the door open. He looked up, startled for a second, but recovered fast. His smirk could slice through bone. Were you listening? Were you selling off our father? Snap. He stood, calmly closing his laptop. I'm making sure he's cared for. In an old age home. Behind his back. Without even asking him. Arian shrugged. Dad needs professional care. And we need freedom. You think love means clinging. I think it means doing what's necessary. I wanted to scream. But I didn't. I just looked at him, this man I once thought I could call family, and asked, necessary for whom, Arian? For him, or for you? He scoffed. You're being dramatic. Emotional. It's always been your problem. You can't think practically. That word again, emotional. As if love was weakness. As if devotion was some kind of disease. But Arian didn't see the long nights I'd spent sitting with Dad when he couldn't sleep. He didn't see the way my father's eyes lit up when we listened to his old ghazals together. He didn't feel the small squeeze of my hand when I helped him walk through the garden, step by slow, careful step. Arian didn't care about care. He cared about convenience, control, cutting loose anything that slowed him down. Later that night, I sat with my father under the stars. He was quiet, sipping warm milk, and asked softly, Am I becoming a burden? I felt my chest crack. No, I whispered. You're my root. My reason. Because I finally understood what Arian's plan truly was. He wasn't trying to help. He was trying to erase. But I wouldn't let him. Not my father. Not while I still had breath in my body. After the confrontation in the study, I stopped reacting emotionally. I started recording. I kept my phone in my pocket, on voice memo mode, whenever Arian talked to doctors, caretakers, or extended family. His words dripped with manipulation. He forgets names now. He wandered outside once. She won't admit how bad it's gotten. Lies. I went to my father's physician, Dr. Mera, alone. I asked for the full report, the real one. He hesitated at first, but once I explained, he handed it over. Your father's memory and faculties are excellent for his age, the report read. No cognitive decline. No signs of dementia. I clutched that report like armor. Over the next week, I spoke to family members Arian had warned about Dad. A few were surprised. Few ashamed. One, my Aunt Nirmala, admitted she'd started questioning me because of him. He told us you were overwhelmed. That you weren't sleeping. That Dad wandered off while you were distracted. Never happened, I said. I printed the recordings, the medical report, and every voice message where Arian twisted the narrative. I even found one where he joked with a friend over a call, saying, If she cries enough, maybe she'll beg me to let her keep the old man. That one broke me. I set a meeting with Arian. Just the two of us. No screaming. Just truth. He walked in smug. Change your mind yet? Want to talk sense? I placed the folder between us. What's this? He asked, flipping it open. Reality, I said. As he read through the transcripts, the photos of documents he'd altered, the report from Dad's doctor. His face changed. Where did you get these? He asked, his voice low. I've been listening, I replied. Recording. Watching. His eyes narrowed. The charm faded. The mask fell. You think this makes you strong, he hissed. You think anyone's going to care about your little obsession with your aging father? Then, softer, more dangerous. You really want to start this fight with me? Because I can make life very difficult for you. That's when I knew. This wasn't misunderstanding. This wasn't family. This was war. I stood up, slowly, calm as ever. You tried to erase my father. tried to make him question his own mind. You tried to erase me too. I leaned in just enough for him to feel my resolve. But you forgot one thing: I don't break. I expose. His smirk returned, half amused, half rattled. Good luck, he said. I don't need luck, I said. I have the truth. And the truth was, his game was over. He just didn't know how loud the truth was going to get. They said I was overreacting. That I was too emotional, too protective, too close to see clearly. So I called a meeting. One Sunday afternoon, I invited every relative Arian had whispered to. Every aunt, uncle, cousin, and neighbor he had manipulated into doubt. They came reluctantly, curious. Some looked bored. Some looked annoyed. A few, like Aunt Nirmala, looked nervous. Arian arrived last. Smiling. He thought I wouldn't go through with it. I stood in front of them, next to my father. His eyes still tired, still unsure of who to trust. But he held my hand. I called you all here because I was accused of being unstable, I began. Because you were told my father was declining, and that I was in denial. Some people shifted in their seats. Others avoided my gaze. But that wasn't the truth. And now I'll show you what was. I handed out copies of my father's full medical report. Passed around printouts of transcripts, screenshots of Arian's messages, and recordings. Dated, time-stamped. One by one I played audio clips on the speaker. Arian telling a doctor Dad had forgotten his own address. Arian texting a cousin. She's losing control, it's time someone steps in. Arian laughing with a friend. Once I get Dad in that home, the property's mine. The room grew quiet. Disbelief hung in the air like smoke. Finally, I pressed play on the last recording. Him threatening me. You really want to fight me? I'll make life very difficult for you. And then silence. Everyone turned to Arian. His smile was gone. Those are fake, he said quickly. She edited them. Medical reports. Yes. Phone logs. Witness statements. He looked at my father, trying to salvage something. Dad, she's twisting everything. My father, who hadn't said a word all evening, cleared his throat. Slowly stood. I may be old, he said, his voice steady. But I'm not broken. And I know when my own son is trying to disappear me. That shattered whatever illusion Arian thought he still had. The questions. Accusations. The same people who once defended him were now distancing themselves. The ones who pitted him now glared. One cousin even muttered, "You're sick." He left before it ended. Face red, fists clenched, muttering something about lawsuits and character defamation. But I didn't care. My father looked at me, his eyes watering. "Thank you," he whispered. I sat beside him, holding his hand again. Not to protect him, but to show him I was here, always had been. They all looked at me like I was dramatic. Too emotional. Too much. But when the dust settled, I was the one left standing. With proof, with dignity, with truth. And it silenced every one of them. After the truth came out, I didn't let the dust settle for long. I sat with my father and a lawyer the next day. We pulled every paper Arian had conveniently filed without our knowledge. Property transfers, medical authorizations, even forged signatures. My father's eyes filled with quiet shame as he saw how far it had gone. But I wasn't here to blame him. I was here to protect him. Within weeks, we revoked Arian's access to every asset. His power of attorney. The fake documents. Nullified. The lawyer filed a restraining order to prevent further harassment. My father's estate was locked down. This time, only by his will and words, not someone else's lies. The house that Arian once claimed was too much for Dad to manage. We restored it. Painted the gates. Planted marigolds outside just like Mom used to. But even as we reclaimed what was ours, I realized we needed more than just defense. We needed space to truly breathe. So I found a new place. A quiet little home in a green neighborhood where birds sang at dawn and no one whispered behind closed doors. My father helped pick the curtains. I helped arrange his books. We cooked together again. burnt the first rotis, laughed at the second batch. Some nights, he'd fall asleep in the living room while watching old cricket matches. And I'd cover him with a shawl, heart full, not just with love but pride. He wasn't just safe now. He was seen, heard, respected. Arian never apologized. He never returned. But he no longer had a door to knock on, or a voice loud enough to matter. He tried to lock my father away in silence. But I gave him back his home, his voice, his freedom. And in doing that I found my own.